Welcome back to the final part of Always Bet on Bard, Chapter 9 of A Thora Silentblade Tale. There was little preparation time for the winners before the Master's Challenge was laid out in the field. At the far end of the field was a pile of tiny clothing items, too small for even most children to be able to wear comfortably. On the near side of the field was a small tube, possibly big enough for the rabbit to fit through. Just past the tube, near the center of the field, was a series of posts sticking straight up from the ground. Most of them were painted plain white, but one of the wooden poles had a darker stain to it, so as to mark it as a target. Immediately after the posts were a pair of rings raised off the ground like a jumping target to take the challenger from the wickets to the clothing pile. Their competition strode confidently up to their stations, each taking one of the course challenges. There seemed to be multiple ways to solve each challenge, but finding the right match for each of them would be key. Thora watched carefully to see what type of tactics would be used, while Dwayne and Allendale came up with a strategy for their team. In general, last year's champions were faring quite well, but when it came time to tossing the rabbit through the rings, luck was not on their side. The poor bunny must have struck every side of those rings as it caromed across the field in a most unusual and unexpected way. The toss was strong, though, if not accurate, and they were able to complete the course. But still, you could see that they were disappointed. When it came to their turn, Thora huddled with the others on what their plan would be. Dwayne had come up with some rather ingenious tricks.
I can smell them. So close. I will be free soon. They will be mine,
thought Konijn, as the large creatures brought him to a field. Before him stood several huge beasts who were huddled up, discussing something. Scanning back and forth, the hunter looked for a way out, but there was always another gate, another fence, another giant.
There must be a way out of here.
Mouse! Konijn's eyes went straight to the sight of a small rodent directly in front of him. Speeding off at a full pace, he tried to leap and catch it, but it just barely escaped into a small tunnel. His prey would not lose him so easily. Ears back, muzzle down, Konijn's eyes never left the sight of the snack before him as he squeezed into the tube, leaping forward with powerful lunges. He was so close. His eyes became blinded as they exited the tunnel back into the full light, momentarily losing sight of his prey. But no, there it was. It was racing towards a large bearded creature who was yelling at him. Konijn couldn't quite make out the words, but he gathered it was somewhat insulting. Teeth bared, he charged at the leather-covered giant, ready for combat. This insult would not stand.
Look at the coward,
Konijn thought to himself.
Trying to hide behind some thin tree. Ha! That will not protect him from my wrath.
There was something else, though. A smell on the wind, something delicious. His nose twitched, trying to find the source. Was it this irritating dwarf? No, it was closer. It was on the tree. Lunging at the wicked, Konijn attempted to close his jaws on the wonderful smelling meat that had been spread out there, only to find his nasty pointed teeth unable to break through the muzzle and reach the delicious morsels before him. No! He cried out in desperation, though others in the crowd would hear nothing. Konijn kept trying, but suddenly found himself lifted in the air, flying awkwardly across the field, the grass so far below him. The travel ended suddenly, landing into the arms of a giant turtle. He narrowed his gaze, ready to attack the newcomer, but just as Konijn was about to pounce, he once again found himself catapulted through the air. As the magical force of the wizard's spell sent him tumbling through the air, Konijn steadied himself, trying to find the balance in midair. Twisting around, he found a way to face towards his destination, where some sort of dragon with a drum was holding up a pair of tiny pants. Not today, reptile, thought Konijn, angling himself away from the giant creature. This would be it, his chance to escape. As he crashed to the ground in a heap, he attempted to rise and make a break for it, only to find an enormous claw nearly crush his spine, lifting him high up into the air. He could only squirm as he felt his rear half suddenly wrapped in soft, constraining fabrics. He tried to snap at his captor as a large, colorful sheath of cloth was shoved over his head. It itched and tugged in all the wrong places. Did this creature have no sense of fit? The tiny hat with bells was the final humiliation as he was forced to accept his fate.
You will die first,
The rabbit promised to the Dragonborn,
and slowly.
His captor must not have heard or understood him, or perhaps it was the clamoring of the crowd that was drowning him out. The smelly throng of screaming giants was deafening to his sensitive ears. Arlandel's team! Arlandel's team! Arlandel's team! Came the chorus around him.
I know your name now.
You will regret this. Thor joined with the rest of his teammates to accept the congratulations of the crowd. They were the victors today, and the bunny looked so cute in his little jester outfit. Arlandel had really outdone himself. It did not appear that the rabbit was enjoying the experience, however. There was a look in its eyes that didn't seem right. But Thor was no animal expert. Shrugging, the dwarf returned to accepting the accolades of the crowd. They were one step closer to that prize.